back to the channel, survivors. Today we're diving back into some Soulmask, and we're going to be covering the basics for anybody that's diving into this game for the very first time. We're going to explore how to understand your starting character in Mask and the relation, the key metrics that you guys need to focus on, and how to effectively level up your skills. First things first, you need to understand that you yourself, the player, are the Mask. You're not the individual character that you just created through the tutorial in the start of the game, nor are you any of the follower NPCs that you will acquire as you play through Soulmask. You yourself are the Mask, and then you will basically essentially use this mask to place it on any individual NPC, either your starter character or a follower, to control. If we go ahead and hit O on our keyboard, it'll bring up this menu. All right, now from this menu we can see tons of different things. The very first one, as you can see on the right hand side, the level of the character that we're currently playing, and then we can see all of the individual attribute points that we can pump into every single level. So if we take a look here, we've got perception, we have physique, we have strength, we have endurance, and then we also have agility. Now each one of these, if you hover over them, will actually explain what exactly the attribute point contributes to and what they increase. It's going to be worth taking a look at each individual one for your character, either your main one that you got from the beginning of the game, or a follower NPC, and then deciding which one is best to pump into based on that character's playstyle. In addition to these attribute points, if we take a look on the right hand side, we also have a proficiency tab. If we click that, we can then see a breakdown on all the individual skill proficiencies, everything from crafting or production, as you can see here, and also combat skills with individual weapons. Not only can you see each individual skill, but underneath each skill you actually can see the maximum skill proficiency that you or this individual character can level up. So you can see, for instance, my logging can go up to a max level 75. However, if I go all the way down here, you can see my shield skill can go all the way to 116, or my spear, for instance, can go to 120. Now, it's important to note that the base character that you start off with actually has a max skill proficiency in everything of level 50. This is going to be the reason why followers and other NPCs that you can take over and take control of are going to be very important, because they will have a lot higher skill proficiency cap, or maximum, if you will, in certain skills. So again, it's going to be absolutely worth taking over a thrall or an NPC as soon as you possibly can, and find one that you fancy. Additionally, it's also worth noting, in order for you to increase these skills on whatever character you're looking at, you actually have to do these physically in the game. So if you want to increase your logging stat, for instance, you got to go chop down a bunch of trees. Same thing goes for increasing your bow. If you want to level that up, you need to be utilizing a bow as much as possible, because in this game it's very similar to other ones like Valheim, where doing those actions will specifically increase your skill proficiency. Now, alongside your skill proficiency, each individual skill also has a bonus little perk that you can put on top of it. You can see we're currently clicked here in logging, but you can see once I hit level 30, for instance, in logging, I would then be able to select one of these 4 different abilities. Not abilities, but extra perks. You can see we have logging speed plus 5, we have the logging output plus 5, logging tool durability cost minus 5, or the logging stamina cost minus 5. So you can pick one of these at every one of these level intervals, and all the way up to level 120, even though my logging for this character cannot exceed level 75. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be a slight little bonus here that you can get additionally. As I mentioned, this is for every single skill. So if I go down here and click on spear, you can see I currently already have level 30 for my spear skill, so I can go ahead and pump into one of these perks already that caters to specifically spears in the game. Now, in addition to the skill proficiencies and skills in the game, you can also check out the mastery tab. In the bottom, the mastery tab here, if you click it, you will see all the different weapon types in the game across the top. Utilizing these weapons and leveling up these weapons, you'll see on the left hand side, as you hit certain skill proficiencies or levels, for instance, you will then start to unlock some additional unique abilities that cater to that specific weapon. So if we take a look at this follower NPC here, you can see that I already have a handful of additional skills unlocked from the base skills. The base skills are going to be across here at the top. Just for utilizing that weapon, you will get these skills, but then you can see, for instance, something like the great sword that this thrall has a higher skill proficiency in, not only has the base skill, but then also has 2 additional ones that they have unlocked that I can pick and choose between, at will. So again, it's just something that you're going to want to make sure you're paying attention to and checking on periodically as as you level up that skill proficiency with a individual weapon, because you might like or fancy some of the additional skills, and they might even aid you in certain situations in the game. Now, with that being said, let's talk about the second thing you have to focus on in update, and that actually relates to your mask itself, because in Soulmask, as I mentioned before, you are not the individual NPC or character that you start off with. Instead, you're technically the mask, and you can utilize this mask to transfer it to anybody and control any of your tribesmen. If you go ahead and press Y on your keyboard, it'll actually open up your mask, and from this menu is where we actually will perform some upgrades. You can see on the left-hand side here the mask that you chose at the beginning of the game, which was going to be one of 3 different masks. Each individual mask will have its own and unique traits and abilities, but they will also share a lot of the same common ones here at the top and middle tree. You can see here at the very top, the first node we have is like a core function module, and then it tells you here that you can repair it to enable emergency storage for energy storage cap plus 200. Right now, again, we'll talk more about deeper into mask later on in another video, but just understand that this very top section here is always going to be the exact same for every single mask, no matter what you select. Each individual node that you will unlock will take a resource. This resource will be some sort of crystal. You can see like this one here on Perception Enhancement, it's going to take 5 of these green crystals down here at the bottom. Some of the nodes will take not only green crystals, but also blue and beyond, according to how much you level them up. So to give you an example how this works, if you go to whatever module you have unlocked, you can see the path that branches off of that module, very similar to every other skill tree in other games. Once you go and you unlock that first one, you can then go to the second one or the third one and then unlock it from there. As I have the auxiliary module unlocked, if I go down to the bottom, we have the logging, node. It then specifically says logging proficiency growth rate plus 25%. So if I'm going to be chopping down a lot of trees, this could be one that you can pump into safely. So we're going to go ahead and just press and hold E on it, and then you can see now it will then increase, and I can actually level this one up to 4 individual times, and the growth rate of the skill proficiency, as it states here in the bottom, will increase every single upgrade. However, you do have to continue to utilize green crystals or additional crystals on top of that to continue to level it up. And not only that, sometimes you will actually have to increase your awareness strength level. As you can see here in red, I need a awareness strength level of 15 in order for me to upgrade this node even further. So again, that's going to be kind of the base version of how you understand the nodes and how you upgrade them. In the very top category that I said is always the same for every single mask, will actually require additional things and achievements in the game in order for you to unlock it. So to give you an example, the control module here, in order for you to unlock it, you're going to have to go to a specific set of ruins and then interact with a totem. Doing this will then give you the ability to unlock the control module inside of your mask. This module specifically is the one that will allow you to control the tribe NPCs that you will collect over time or enthrall over time. Additionally, we can see the data update 1, module on your mask, as you can see here, actually requires you to defeat the saber-tooth predator to enter the pyramid and get the data. This one is the very first boss in the game, and then you can see following that, we'll move on to all of the other bosses that are currently available right now in early access. Now, with that information, let's talk about awareness strength. You can see in the bottom left-hand side, on the very bottom of your screen, you have an experience bar that goes all the way across, and it tells you what your awareness strength level is. You can see right above my awareness strength level, as I'm currently standing at a base in my tribe, I am naturally passively gaining experience just by standing here. Additionally, anytime you craft an item, you will gain some sort of experience for your awareness strength. Anytime you kill something, you will gain some additional awareness strength. This is kind of like your overall, I want to say, like, way of leveling in the game. It could be passive, it could be manual, it could be automated, you name it, you will just naturally gain higher awareness strength level. And this is going to be something that you're going to need to pay attention to, because as I've mentioned before, no matter what you're trying to do, everything will have a specific requirement. You can see here, I can't unlock the mask technique table until I have a strength awareness level 15. And again, keep in mind that the strength awareness level is actually separate from your character level that you're currently playing at that moment. As you can see, my awareness level is only 13, but my character's level is actually 14. So again, don't get the two confused. They're two vastly different things, and you can have a much higher awareness strength level at level 1 than you can your actual character's levels. And now last but not least, when it comes to the individual followers in the game, it's also important to understand that they each will come with a set of talents. Some of these talents will be positive and even negative traits. So you want to make sure you're paying attention to those talents and those skill proficiencies of that follower to really know exactly where to allocate those points specifically, and also their skill proficiencies that they have a lot higher maximum cap at, so then you can utilize those followers for those specific tasks. If we take a look at some of the talents that I have on this current follower that we're using for an example, we have guard, we have a second guard one here for guard 3 and guard 2. We also have a battle tested one here, which then will obviously allow them to take less damage, which again is really nice. We have a couple of purple ones, which means, you know, likes. They like being around monkeys, so that increases their overall mood and morale. They also love being cold, therefore standing right next to a campfire and increasing their heat is not something that they prefer, therefore, you know, it'll bring down their morale or how they feel. Next up, we have the first one, which is an aversion. Now, this aversion is to alcohol, so it dislikes drinking any type of alcohol, so that's going to be something to keep in mind when you're going into a fight. One of the buffs, as I talked about in a previous video, relates to a beverage, so you want to make sure you're not drinking alcohol on this character because it will naturally bring down their mood and not increase, you know, their mood. Additionally, we have something like firm will, which is just a little side perk here in green, talking about how they have a 25% chance to become immune. And then we have 3 individual, what I would call detractors. The very first one means no load wanted, so it carries weight without any skill. Maximum load is minus 60%, so I can carry 60% less items on this character when utilizing them, so just keep that in mind. Additionally, they have single blade damage reduction, so utilizing the single blade weapon in the game, not like a great sword or not, you know, dual blades, but a single blade, you can see that they do less damage by 15% using it. And then also additionally, they have a hammer damage reduction, so utilizing hammers in the game obviously will have a 20% damage reduction. So again, this is just something you need to pay attention to because it does help out a lot knowing and understanding each one of the talents for the specific follower that you are trying to utilize, so then that way you know how to allocate the points most efficiently and also what skills to level up for that individual. And if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to check out this video I have here on screen, which dives into 3 really big things that I absolutely love about Soulmask and what I personally believe sets it apart from other survival crafting games in its genre. As always, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel for everything Soulmask related. And with that being said, as always, guys, I'll see you on the next one.